The Washington Post has insider sources within the Trump legal team that have revealed the ways that Trump is trying to crack down on the admittedly out of control legal spending he's had to engage in as his multi-pronged legal defense goes forward, and also revealing some of the, I would say, kind of unique challenges that being a lawyer for Donald Trump bring with them. So on the money end, lawyers have been told they can't charge more than $750 an hour after some lawyers sent in bills that Trump's political advisors deemed exorbitant. According to one of the sources, attorney Todd Blanche and the Florida legal team often apparently meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago the day before court appearances and then stay overnight. So theoretically, those hours could really add up. And so those bills, I will admit, maybe are a lot of money. But when they're there with him, trying to get him ready for developments in this case, apparently he does not like to hear tough news about any of the cases and will then change his story when he does. Now, it might not be immediately clear what they mean by that, and we're going to return to it. What do you mean change your story just because of bad news? It's not good. We'll return to that. First, though, let's focus on the money. So remember, in the E. Jean Carroll case, he owes, we could round it to $100 million. That's a lot of money. In the civil fraud trial, he could owe $250 million. He could owe $500 million. A lot of money, whatever way you slice it. And here's the thing, with some of that guaranteed and some of it still hypothetical, with the stakes so high, a significant portion of his entire net worth on the line, should he really be cutting corners with what his lawyers bill, considering all that they have to deal with when trying to help him out? $750 an hour is a lot for you or me, but for a guy that claims to be a multi-billionaire, what do you care? Remember, it's not even his money that's being spent. They're raising money from the MAGA world and throwing it into that ever-increasing ditch. So it's weird that he would start to pinch pennies considering the huge sums that are already being thrown around. And it's not like he's gonna end up paying the lawyers in a lot of cases. So maybe he'll even be able to save the MAGA world some money. But let's get back to his changing of the story, which is really in line with everything that we know about Donald Trump through the course of his life. He doesn't like reality when it isn't in his favor. So according to a source who's worked for Trump on legal matters, says he has his own set of facts. That's the biggest issue of representing him. It's impossible to get him to agree to a unified set of facts. And as soon as there is an issue with one of those facts, the facts just change retroactively. So this is the alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway told us about literally years ago. And the thing is, it isn't that he just refuses to accept the facts, comes up with new ones, changes what he thinks his defense is about or the way he communicates about his defense in his own mind or at Mar-a-Lago. He goes on social media and makes a legal matter of it. And so the report says Trump posts on social media without telling anyone, leaving his advisors and lawyers to read his missives at the same time as the public. And I will remind you, these missives have legal ramifications they already have in the E. Jean Carroll case. And so just briefly, I want to combine all of these different factors of what Donald Trump does to his lawyers and to himself as we get ready for a major advancement in the civil fraud trial coming up later this week. He truthed this earlier today, and I'm just gonna jump around a little bit, but he says, Letitia Peekaboo James is a corrupt attorney general who wants to get Trump. Let's pause there for a second. And I will remind you that Donald Trump, a guy who's former president, might be the future president, is using an explicitly racist, albeit weird slur against Letitia James. He doesn't like her, so he calls her peekaboo. And I know that we're not supposed to throw around accusations of racism. What do you mean he's racist? Well, if you're a Trump fan and you read that and you laughed at that, why don't you tell me what it means? What does he mean by peekaboo? If it's not racist, what is it? You got nothing. Trump's got nothing. You know why you like it. You know why you enjoy it. You know why he keeps sending it out. But more importantly, he says that the civil fraud trial is a sham because they're not taking into account the Trump brand, which is his most valuable asset, worth literally billions of dollars. And the judge has said that Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million rather than 50 to 100 times that amount. These are some of those alternate facts that he's come up with to make himself feel better that importantly have nothing to do with the case. You can keep saying that Mar-a-Lago is worth billions of dollars. It isn't, okay? Nobody has assessed it at that value. And so it has nothing to do with the case. You can keep calling James racist slurs. It's not gonna change anything. You can keep saying that your reputation or your Twitter account should be worth billions of dollars. That's not how any of this works. And he is presenting that as his legal defense. He is making these claims that in theory could see themselves pop up in the case, but that isn't going to help him actually win the case. And so it feels good for him, but it does his lawyers no favors as they continue to struggle in very difficult circumstances to give him even a minor win amidst all of this terrible legal news for him. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.